Crazy God story. Years ago, my friend Brandon landed his dream job working in finance. He was on track to make 7 figures a year when God came to him and said, "This is your dream for your life. It's not my dream for your life." So with the blessing of his wife, he quit his job. He ended up working as a pastor at a church plant that ended up growing to over 1,500 people, where he was making 6 figures a year. And God came to him again and said, "This is still not my dream for your life." So he left that job. He ended up working as a traveling preacher, speaking at churches and Christian events and things like that, when he got invited to speak at a conference at a church in South America. He was one of many speakers, and the first night there, he didn't get to preach, and so he was standing off by himself to the side. He was feeling kind of dejected and bummed out when a woman he'd never seen before walked up to him and said, "Are you Brandon?" Then she said, "God sent me here from another town. He showed me you in a vision, said your name was Brandon, and there's 3 things he wants me to tell you. The first is you're too worried about money." And at the time, he was really worried because his income was really inconsistent. The second is that you don't spend enough time with God. When she said that, he thought to himself, well, I write sermons for a living. And then she said, "I know you write sermons for a living, but that's for other people." Then she said, "God is going to send you to another part of the world to free his people." And after that, she described in detail his office back in the United States. The next day, the same thing happened. Another woman came up to him from another town and told him all of the exact same things. The crazy part is, nobody knew who he was. He wasn't announced. He wasn't on any posters. He hadn't got to speak yet, so nobody knew who Brandon McNace was in that area. Several months later, he got invited to meet with a group in Pakistan, and while he was there, he found out that there are millions of people living in slavery. The conditions they live in are just like what slavery was like in the United States before the Civil War. He also found out that if you free slaves in Pakistan, that they are not replaced and the number of slaves is permanently reduced. You see, in Pakistan, there are no slavers or slave traders or slave markets. No one is going out and catching people and forcing them to become slaves in Pakistan. The way you become a slave there is when you're born, if your family is already in slavery, you become a slave. He found out that there is a dollar amount attached to every single person, and if you pay that dollar amount, the slave goes free, and there is nothing their slave owner can do to keep them or to get new slaves. Brandon put a team together and they began buying entire families out of slavery. Not only that, but they helped them become educated and trained. They've built a school, they've built a church. They helped these people become completely self-sufficient. Since March of 2022, they have freed 13,449 people from slavery. If you want to know more about what Brandon is doing or how to get involved, go to exodus51.org.